Every year for 3 months, if you blink long enough, you might think Jamaica's schoolboy football is the World Cup.
Miguel Coley has his wish and his title. Oh, he's waited eons in his own mind, and now this team has done it for him. And the team from Old Hope Road.
It's a rite of passage for any footballer worth their weight in gold.
And McGee scores again, this time from close range, the number 10 with his 10th.
Over the last decade, one man dominated the Manning Cup and the Olivier Shield for 5 straight seasons. Sports Chat caught up with Miguel Coley, who coached Jamaica College from 2013 to 2017, winning the coveted urban and all-island titles every single year during that tenure.
All right, so Coach Coley, welcome to Sports Chat.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being a part of your program.
How did you get your start in coaching?
I started coaching when I was going to university. It was like a holiday job for me. So I went back to my gully and helped out my former coach at home with the Dakar Stack-Up team. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started. I didn't think about being a coach or anything at all. It was like a holiday job because I needed the money to offset my expenses, my college expenses. However, I'd left Waterhouse and I went back to my community and I got injured. And at the time too, I was a teacher. So I got injured and I think I was going through depression. I was very stressed because first time in my life since starting playing football, I was injured. Mm-hmm. So it was very difficult to deal with. However, while teaching physical education, I realized that I had in the different classes, I saw some very good players. So I said, hey, guys, come in the morning, 9 o'clock, and I will train you, and then you go to class. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't thinking about coaching the high school team or anything at all. I was saying, hey, come. And they started coming out, and they were very, very good players. And one day, the Manning Cup coach saw me, mm-hmm. and Coach Clark said to me, why don't you come and help me with the Manning Cup team? And I said, okay. When I joined up with him, he gave me the under 14 team. It was the same boys that I was coaching became the core of that team. 4 years after, Mr. Clark got a job at Calabar. Wagahound died. Was a very good friend of Mr. Clark, and Mr. Clark went to Calabar High School. Mm-hmm. And he said to me that I want you to become the Manning Cup coach. I started laughing. I said, no, you have a lot of old boys and stuff can become the coach. I am just an assistant coach. I am just your trainer. That's what I said to him. He said to me, no man, if anybody should get this job, it's you because you're disciplined, you know the game. And he went on. So I said to him, Coach Clark, this is going to be a very difficult shoe to fill. And he laughed and he said to me, guess what? Just wear your own shoes. Wow. You know, and he said, and it was profound for me, you know. Now, fast forward, 2013, I got a call. And the person said to me that, is this Coach Coley? And I said, yes. And the person said, we want you to be the head coach of Jamaica College. And I said, Jamaica College? And he said, yes. And I said to him that at this moment, I'm afraid I cannot take up the offer.
Why
he said to me,
why did you say that? What was your apprehension at that time to join Jamaica College?
Sometimes being a coach and also being a teacher, you get so caught up in the lives of your students and your players. And I had a bunch of boys that I wanted to see through.
And then?
And I thought about it. And there were some issues with me and at Norman Manley and the school. The direction in which I wanted the program to go. And I was a bit frustrated. And I said to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to take this opportunity. And the rest is history.
You joined Jamaica College. You go on to win 5 Manning Cup titles back to back to back to back to back. You go on to win the Super Cup. You go on to win the Walker Cup. What was the main reason that you were able to win so quickly as a young coach?
I think by the time I reached Jamaica College, I think I've garnered a lot of experience. I've been through the JFF coaching school, in which the level 1 and level 2, I was a top student in both courses. I was coaching at Barbican from 2010, so at the time 2012 I had some experience now in club football also, and Barbican was doing very well because we went to the Premier League in 2014. And teamwork, I think we have a very good management staff at Jamaica College. We had a very good principal, still have a very good principal at Jamaica College. I have a game model, and this encompasses all the stakeholders. So when I go to a team, I think about the history of the school, the players who I have, the resources that I have, and then my philosophy. And I mix that together, and I think I do a very good job in terms of dealing with the mix and handling the resources around me. And dealing with football off the field, building a program, developing the talents, and then on the match day, I think I have a good assessment of the game, what needs to be done, what needs to be changed. And sometimes it's not even changing a player. It's probably just put a player on the back. Say something motivating, because that is something that I think that I've been able to do, like motivating players, because regardless of how the quality they have, if you can't motivate them, it doesn't make any sense at all. And sometimes you have some luck.
When it comes to coaching, and specifically coaching high school boys, how much would you say you would attribute to psychology versus tactics?
And psychology is key when it comes to boys at that age. They're going through that stage that you call the adolescence, which is the most critical time in their life. They're troubled with all type of self-confidence issues. Sometimes if a pimple come on their face, they can't play. They're dating, they're having girlfriend, then the school. So they're bombarded from all angles. So the football, the school life, the community life, personal issues that they're struggling with. And you have to can identify that quickly. I always tell persons that I can tell persons change of behavior by their hair. So even if my player, when I see probably their hair probably not as bouncy, I can know like, hey, something wrong with him. So I watch them very keenly, and sometimes I just call them and say, Coach, how you know that? But I say, hey, you're like my son. So I'm very close to them. I see, even before I anticipate, because sometimes you follow up with things that things that are happening at the home, things that are happening in the school, and so you follow up. So sometimes I anticipate that something may go wrong. So psychology is very, very, very important. It is one of the most important things when dealing with schoolboys.
2013 to 2017, which of those seasons did you find the most difficult and why?
2017, very inexperienced team. We had players with very big egos, and it's about how you deal with all of these egos to allow the team to play to its optimal level. So dealing with that was a very big issue. You had to come up with different plans in terms of how to attack, maybe player to player, maybe player with team. So all of those issues you had to deal with. And sometimes I can tell you, sometimes as a coach, you alone cannot deal with it. So you find out that maybe this player has a better rapport with the assistant coach, maybe with a manager. So you use your resources and allow them to deal with all the different aspects. But it took us a very, very long time for us to really gel. And it was not just about the quality, it was more about the mindset of the players. One thing I can remember, I said to them, there are rumors going around that I may leave. I'm going to leave, and the only reason why I'm here is because of you.
Okay.
So let us do this together, because I was supposed to leave from the October.
Okay.
So I said to the club in Iran that, if it's possible, I will come in December. And they said, okay. So I said to them, hey, you're the only reason why I'm here, so let us. And that I think helped, because.
So they were really doing it for coach. I mean, I've heard players say that before. I've heard that Pepe Goodison said that he played for Rene Simoes. How much of it do you think was playing for Miguel Coley, or it's playing for Jamaica College and we have to do this as a school? Do you think that they were doing this for their coach, the last hurrah, so to speak?
If you have players who don't play for the coach, you just stop coaching. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I always say to them that don't be the team. Don't let it be said that you're the team that lose the Manning Cup. Because we continue to win. So I normally put a lot of stuff, plant a lot of seed, that they have to think about in their head,
That's a good psychological play. All right, so I'm going to go back to a year that I would think it would be difficult for you in that Manning Cup final. And that year is 2015. You lost the Super Cup. At that time, the Super Cup was at an all-time high. I think that's the cup that people wanted to win. You have St. George's College, which is always a thorn in the side of Jamaica College. Bertis Bell and that team. And you lost in the Super Cup. How do you lift these boys to go on now to win the Manning Cup?
That's the most interesting year. I think I blundered. I know I blundered. The national team, we had a game against Panama. We lost 2-0. The next day, I had the Manning Cup game. I was under a lot of pressure, a whole lot of pressure. And the team had played a game against Wolmer's, and they won 3-1 in the Manning Cup quarterfinals. And I remember Mali Cowell scored.
Yes.
Mali Cowell is the right back, and he went in the second half and played centre forward, and he scored. So the next day, I went to the school, and there were a lot of information, bombarding me. Hey, Malik is the best striker, and then Alex Marshall, was about, hey, we know Charlie's play very high game speed, and they pass the ball to Marshall very quickly. And I said to myself, you know what, let me man-to-man with Marshall. No, I am a coach who don't play man-to-man. Never. But I said to myself, with all the information I was getting, and then, I made a decision. I said, look, we're going to play 3-5-2, and we're going to man-to-man Marshall, and then Mali Cowell is centre forward. Donovan Darkin is at right back. If you notice, Marshall created a lot of problem to the point where we went on to 10 men because one of our players fouled Marshall and he got a red card, a second yellow card, and got a red card and was sent off. So when I assessed every single thing, at the end of the game, we had more possession of the ball, we had more shots on goal, we had more chances, we had more corners. So all the statistics, different from the goal scoring statistics, lean to Jamaica College. The only thing was that George's, which they played very well too. So don't say they played very well, but they scored 4 goals and within the scoring of goals. The next day, I called a meeting and I said to the player, listen, gentlemen, if anybody said to you, look here, George is beating up 4-0 on Embarrassing School, just tell them he's a coach. Remember I tell you this, look, and I said to them, look here, this one is on me, okay? This one is on me. So I was very quick in terms of settling them down, because what will happen if you don't settle the group very quickly, you will have players saying, hey, is this player? So now everybody can point at me. It's my fault. I blundered. Now, listen, we're going to play balloon and smile the next game. They start laughing. Coach, what are you talking about, balloon and smile? So what I had to do now, I had to put something very interesting. So the system was like, and I can just draw it so you can see. So this is basically balloon and smile.
Okay.
So what you have here is like you have this broad smile here. So I have 4 players playing like this with like a smile, and then you have right inside here is like a balloon. So I made something very interesting with them and said, look here, we're going to play balloon and smile. And they start laughing. And during the whole training session, it's like you will hear players saying, hey, don't make the balloon bust, and stuff like that. So they were all into it. Now, bear in mind that this is one of my most experienced teams. Different from a Mali Cowell, Tyreek Maggie, All the players were experienced. So we know how Georges play. We had to prevent them from reaching to Marshall very quickly. So that's the reason why we made the balloon in the middle to close the center. Like from the start of the game to the end of the game, it was non-stop running. It was running at a high level, concentration.
All of this coming like it's a dream. All of this coming like...
Coach, you've had some masterly tactics. Is there any other coach over the years that you've patterned your coaching style from? Any mentor that really influenced your coaching? Who would you say you look to?
When I started out being a coach, I used to go out and watch different experienced coaches to see how they go about, because I wanted to see what they do, how they deal with situation. Not just about how the team deal with situation. I started after that watching Barcelona a lot, because at the time when I was developing as a coach, Barcelona was playing tiki-taka. I liked it, but I saw a lot of deficiency in the whole thing, and then there was Klopp.
So Klopp was
Klopp was at Dortmund, and I thought, this is how I want to play football. I wanted my team to work harder than the opponent. I wanted to win the ball, especially in the opponent's half. So I pay a lot of attention to especially transition from attack to defense, because I wanted to win back the ball as quickly as possible. So that kind of built the philosophy that I wanted, and at the same time I tried to build a family as much as possible, more than as a team. Hey, this is your brother. I'm not even your father. I am your brother. I'm just a big brother here who wants you to achieve more than I have achieved as a player. And they always say to me, Coach, that's very easy. They always say to me that is very easy. So yeah, I like Klopp. I like how he, especially at Dortmund, because Dortmund, wasn't a team that had the superstars.
Okay, and locally, when you were coaching the Manning Cup, which coach would you say tactically gave you the most work?
I like playing against Dean Weatherly. We have many coaches who come with a set plan, and they live or die with it. This is how they're gonna play. But I remember playing with Dean Weatherly. He come up with something. You have to create two moves against him every time, because if you only react to him, then you're in problem. So every time he did something, then you have to make two adjustments. Like you adjust to what he did, and then you make a counter play. I really enjoy, as I always said, my coaching style, that when I play against him, I always, even although I win, but I always enjoy playing against him, because he always do something that I always have to pick my brain and try to find answers. And especially, I remember we played a Super Cup in 2014, and I was sweating. Normally, I'm very calm on the bench, but I've never been dominated so much in a game. So they had the crowd; they were dominating us for the entire, not only first half, but for the entire game. But, I remember in 2013, the striker for the team was Sheldon McCoy. But Shackelford came, and then Sheldon went into the midfield. So I know Sheldon, I wanted a striker who was much more a runner into the box, because Shackelford was coming out and the player was very tight on him. So the player had very good anticipation. He was very fast, front-footed, and we could not play to the striker. So I made two changes. I took Sigri out of the midfield, put him to the left back, and then put Sheldon from midfield to striker. And one cross, one goal, and we go home.
Wow.
Yeah, but Dean Weatherly I think he's a fantastic coach.
Now, players. Obviously, as a coach, and we'll get to it shortly, but the recruiting system in the Manning Cup is quite heavy. Have you ever seen any players and think, I'd love to have coached that player?
Yes, Vassell.
Of the second round of the 2019 MLS Super Draft, LAFC select the Caribbean Combine MVP midfielder Peter Lee Vassell.
We always look for guys that we think can play, who can move, can pass, have an easy way of doing things, and I think he showed that every time he stepped on the field.
I like that type of player. I like that type of midfielder. Yeah,
What is it about it?
He's a player I have time for, a lot of time for. Poetic. He glides. When you find a talent like that, you know, you find a player like that, like, you know, Whitmore, Zidane, you know, their movements is with so much ease and so much time and very deceptive. You're not sure they go left, they go right, they shoot, they pass. You know, they have all the different combinations with good attitude also. So they play also for the team. So I like that combination of player. And I've never tried to recruit him. I've never tried to recruit him though, but he's a player that if I have a player like this, I could do a lot of damage in the school.
Wow. All right. And you've had a lot of big players, right? You talk about Howell earlier, there's Orlando Brown, there's Junior Fleming. But if you were to pick, like, say, a top 5, which of your players over the years would you pick, and tell me the reason why?
Difficult, very difficult. But let me start with, you have Junior Flemings, very industrious, winner mentality, very skillful player, a leader in all form, on the field and off the field. He played with so much heart. I would say Junior Flemings would be a part of that top 5. Also, Tariq Maggie, for his moments of magic. You know, he does the uncoachable things that you probably haven't seen in a long time, or maybe have not seen. He's not the player that's always be the most consistent player, but everybody, all coach dream about having a player who out of nowhere can create, and he does that, and he have done that many times for Jamaica College. If you remember the Wilmers 2016, the finals, Oliver Shield 2017, so and many different occasions. So definitely he would be in the top 5. Also Orlando Brown, he would be in the top 5 based on his development in terms of being, because I remember when I had Orlando Brown, he loves to give a lot of joke, you know, not the most disciplined, and then his final year he transformed into such a great leader, a big brother, and because of his leadership, it was very easy to pull the team together. Mm-hmm. You know, so Orlando Brown is one of that player. So Howell, mm-hmm. Ramon Howell, he came from Bridgeport. He's one of the fastest players in terms of transition. Very talented. A player remind me like a Vassell. Very talented, works hard, a team player, and have many different attributes in terms of player. So difficult because you think about what's his name, Rochester. You think about Blackwood. Though all of those players are very similar in terms of the Maggie and the Junior Flemings. Those players are cut above, I believe.
All right, you've spent some time as an assistant coach with the national outfit. You've had some success there with the Caribbean Cup. You've gone to the Gold Cup finals, I believe. If you were to pick one, club coaching, which is what you're doing now, national team, or Manning Cup, high school coaching, which one would you bench? Which one would you start? Which one would you cut?
I would cut the high school coaching.
Really?
High school football has played a very important part in terms of my development, and I won't say it's a stepping stone either, but I want to be coaching at the club level internationally and coaching also a country. So that's where my mindset is, and as a result of that, that's one of the reasons why I left Jamaica College.
Where would you want to coach if you had to pick one club team?
Well, my dream job is Man United. My dream job is Man United, definitely.
Right now, I'm feeling myself.
If you were to to take Ole's team now and work with Ole, are you thinking of a Manchester United with or without Pogba?
I would think about Man United with him. Players like Pogba needs management. They need to be nurtured. They need to feel important. Because as you can see, he loves attention. And then you can see that he can shoulder responsibility. You saw him at the World Cup with France. We saw him in Juventus before. And at the same time, he needs pieces around him. Because although he's a very good player, he's also limited. When you look at Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes would be frustrated without having like a Van Nistelrooy, without having a Dwight York, and all of those David Beckham, those pieces with him. Because when you're in a championship club, you definitely want championship players, because there's a high level of pressure, and all players will go out and say, "Hey, I am Man United player." A lot of pressure. So it's more than they can play football, but are they championship material? So I would definitely think about Man United with a Paul Pogba, especially now you have Bruno in the mix. How you play them now, that's the challenge with having two creative players who seem to be very similar.
Mm-hmm. The World Cup was a short period, so Pogba was able to concentrate. How would you keep a player like Pogba keeping his mind on the prize for an entire 9 months?
What is very important with players like Pogba is game time. So the most important thing is that you have a solid squad. So if a player like Pogba not playing up to standard, he can sit on the bench. Before, when Pogba doesn't play, the team lose, because normally when you put a player on the bench and you lose, as a coach and as an organization, you're in problem. And the player can say, "You see, I don't play, you lose." But when you can put a player on the bank and the team goes out and win, then this player will say, hey, I am the problem, I have to change. It's always important that as a coach, you are in a position to allow players to introspect and allow players to be better, and allow players to step up to the plate, because concentration is a mental thing. If you're probably in 8th position, 10th position, you'll find that, hey, player not so motivated, not going to win a title. So many things affect how concentrated a player like a Pogba, especially after winning a World Cup. When you win a World Cup, that momentum, it goes with you in the club, and then you find out that you're not going to win anything. You can, some conflict there.
Fair enough. What do you think can be done more locally to improve the football that we have in Jamaica?
Management of players is very, very important. We have not lacked talent, but what we have lacked is the management of a player. If you look at any other sport, for example, you say track and field, that athlete needs management around him. He needs maybe his doctor, a physiotherapist, all different stakeholders that support him. In football, when we have very good players, what happens is that they don't have a management structure around them. They're injured, they cannot go to the doctor, they cannot find finances to do this, to do that. We have to identify our young players, good young players from early, put a management team around them. Let them start feeling or seeing themselves as at the doorstep of being a professional player. So that is very, very important. I know personally will say you need a lot of resources and a lot of money. What you need more is personnel.
Yes.
We know the problem with our fields already, and you have many countries who have issues with field. I was watching Tevez, his documentary, and you saw the field that he was playing on. So it is no problem. Sometimes you're playing on a bad field, and you grow from that level. We definitely need better fields in the country. But I think more than anything else is the management. We have to get coaches now to a level where it's not only about being certified, but having the experience now to take the players to a next level. For the football to improve, or for education of anything to improve, your teachers or your coaches have to be at a certain level. You're not going to be coaching at the University of the West Indies with a diploma. You need a doctorate or maybe a master's to be. So that is something that has to improve. And it has nothing to do with the coaches are not good or anything like that. But they have to be at a certain level to bring that talent, because Jamaica, we have the raw talent. bring the coaches to a certain level.
What do you think about a high school recruiting system?
The high school recruiting system is, first of all, everybody recruits. Let me put that out there. Everybody recruits. It is a very important thing in terms of any successful organization. Recruiting is important. And even in your organization, you may see somebody from a different broadcasting company. Look, we want to be the winning group. Hey, recruit them. So the same thing with football. Recruiting is very, very, very important. And you will find that in all aspects is that although you're recruiting from a school, that same school is recruiting from another school. The thing about recruiting, which is very difficult many times, is that you bring a young man he has quality, but he doesn't have sometimes the discipline, that attitude that will make you win. And also you bring a player that is very good in another team, but because you have a team that has players like him, he's afraid to express himself. He doesn't have the confidence. Sometimes he does well, but sometimes also you find some players who come and they fall underneath the radar. So it is good. It is good to recruit. We have benefited from recruiting, but we have benefited more by having a solid program.
You had mentioned the difficulty of coaching in the Premier League and coaching in the Manning Cup. You've mentioned earlier that for you, there was a bit of difficulty in coaching the national team, playing against Panama, and then going for the Super Cup. Do you think it's problematic when schools have coaches who have multiple coaching jobs?
When you're more experienced, it is much easier. When you have a very good management staff, it's much easier. When you have a very good assistant coach, it's much easier. But it's very difficult, especially dealing with youngsters. Because as I said, these players desire a lot of attention, not from the manager, not from the assistant coach, but from the coach. Mm-hmm. Because this is the person that they're going out there to play for. When you have, for example, a Premier League team, and I've seen many coaches coaching Premier League and the schoolboy football, and many times the youngsters suffer. It's very, very difficult, and I would always advise, especially if you're a young coach, gear towards one first, and then as you go along, you build your repertoire. Then you can, because what happens as a coach is being believable. The players believing in you. And so if they don't believe in you and you're a young coach and you lose a game to get them back up, it's very, very difficult. But when you send a player, said, okay, tonight don't drink any milk. And the mother said, have some milk in the fridge for you. That child not going to drink the milk. That's how important you are to the young man.
Yes.
And also they want to see focus. They're going out there to give 100%. And if they feel that the coach not giving 100% back, it will affect them.
When you're finished with your career and you lie back and you're retired, what would you like your scroll to say about Miguel Coley?
So I would want to be somebody who, embrace all the pain and make the best of it.
That's it! Miguel Coley has his wish and his title! Oh, he's waiting here in his own mind for the Walker Cup title! And now this team has done it for him! And the team from Old Hope Road has another trophy to their collection.
Super Cup, everybody say tasty!